So, here's a list of things the speech almost was. Me reading the entire script of the Bee Movie. Me up here going through the rows and one by one giving everyone here a TBH. A scholarly essay about why the Cheetah Girls are seriously underrated, and the roast of John Packard and Andrea Hines. A line-by-line explanation of why Gucci Flip Flops by Bad Baby is the best song ever written in human history. A Watch Mojo-style list of top 5 reasons I thought Susanna Waters was out to kill me before I started at Brooks. And a top 15 reasons why everyone here should give Susanna Waters $1 million because she's amazing and we don't deserve her. Why I should be rewarded for 14 years of schooling with both Max Chabon and Ben Hines. Why Ollie Holmes, Miss Holmes's dog, should be president. Me scrolling through Instagram and just trying to describe every post. Why Miss Davies and literally no one else in this world should wear white turtlenecks. Also, Miss Davies, can I have my hat back? Having Wes Delalio as a guest star to beatbox while I freestyled about random stuff I saw for 30 minutes. An investigative report on where even is Mavmad. Reasons why Mr. Nasa is the absolute wildest human being to ever walk this earth. And my ultimate faculty fistfight bracket, which ended in a surprising victory for TOB. And finally, just 15.5 minutes of me tongue popping. I thought of all these things when I signed up to do this speech, but a random conversation with my mom over spring break has been buzzing around the back of my mind for a while now. So what are your goals for the end of this year? I looked up lazily and said, pass, I guess. I'm sure I don't need to say that she wasn't too pleased with my answer. She said, come on, Naimah, aim higher than that. This isn't about Brooks anymore. What do you want to focus on to finish this year? I paused, trying to come up with the right answer that sounded truthful and positive enough for my mom to take me seriously and let this conversation die. So I said, I want to chase my joy, be happy, and stop cursing so much in Gov. She was satiated, and I went back to my 5th consecutive hour of Candy Crush. This conversation was really important to me, and I realized that my goals were bigger than me, so I decided to write my senior speech about it. So here we go. These are my tips so you don't say the F word in Willie Waters' Gov class. Just kidding. I want to talk about chasing your joy. So I know whatever I say brings me joy may not be the same for you, but I hope you can find something in this speech that will remind you to take time for that thing in your life that does bring you joy. In my life, a lot of things bring me joy, like really stupid sunglasses, and rent days with Ratika when we'd gather all our friends in the old art center and perform all the songs on the Rent soundtrack full out. And also almost getting kicked out of Red Cross babysitting training, and ultimately being banned from coming back with my best friend because we would not stop singing High School Musical across the room. My joy comes from receiving random homemade memes from Shay and watching Gabby and Arouge shamelessly holler at each other in the dining hall. It also comes from watching Amanda laugh at a blank wall in the common room. Because right about 12:30 a.m., she starts to lose her marbles, which is also right around when Alyssa curls up in the same spot every time and knocks out for precisely 30 minutes. My joy comes from Janelle threatening to kick me off the bus because fight night is inappropriate. The coffee house also continues to be an endless source of joy. Particularly, I enjoy calling Ben Hines Benjamin in my mom voice because I really, really don't want him to throw another laptop. Similarly, I also love seeing my boys Jack, Riker, Omo, Brian, and Austin, who all call me mom now. I really don't blame them because if I see them outside the dining hall during dinner hours, I literally cannot stop myself from following my usual, hi babies, with did you all eat dinner? They always reply with an eye roll, yes, mom. Something about making sure that they're all okay, and ensuring that they're eating at least one vegetable every few days brings me joy, because I care about them. So, my friends. Yeah, I get joy from hanging out with them. That's pretty much why everyone has friends, unless you're living in the movie Heathers. But I also get my joy from other places. By now, if you've ever met me, you know I love RuPaul's Drag Race. So, of course, I spend hours rewatching old episodes because no matter what anyone says, that is the greatest show on TV. The combination of good old-fashioned drink throwing and wig snatching, paired with heart-wrenching stories of love and loss and finding self-confidence, are a perfect cocktail I cannot get enough of. The show is everything to me. Performances and the lip syncs alone are enough to hook someone. Season 11, episode 2, to Britney Spears' Work Beat, and Whitney Houston's So Emotional from the season 9 finale, objective classics. It also allows kids like me, who were born after the height of the club kids and the ball scene in the 80s and 90s, to witness queer expression in its many forms with an added edge of competition. Not to mention that sharing it with friends is always fun. Thanks, AB, Lila, and my mom for watching with me. Very differently, I learned to love something that I hated. When I began lacrosse, I hated it. I even went so far as to start disliking everyone's favorite anthropomorphic Cadbury egg, Kenya Jones, because he simply represented to me having to play lacrosse. I cried more than 15 separate times my freshman spring when my mom told me that I had to play lacrosse. She wouldn't let me quit, and no amount of tears made her let up. Even when I begged, she never ceded. Never. I wasn't good at it, and I didn't want to be there. I quickly convinced myself that the entire team hated me for it. I started avoiding Jones, thinking he also hated me. Little did I know, he didn't hate me. But like the rest of the team, he just disliked the other part, the fact that I didn't want to be there. Nothing could retroactively change the fact that I'd simply never played before. But I was embarrassed to try and fail, and I just continued to not try, and then feel bad because I was not trying, and subsequently upsetting my teammates. Now I spend hours on end playing wall ball, working my butt off in games and practices, and now I'm the co-captain of the JV Lax team with one of the hardest working people I know. Hey, Claire. All because I committed to an attitude adjustment. I learned to find my joy within that activity. And if I hadn't, I would have missed some really fun moments. My favorite one was last spring, and I'm not sure if everyone remembers it as fondly as I do. My mom said, "Hey, Lily," and Lily Quinn jogged over to the sideline. "I found this earring on the ground. Can you check, see if you know whose it is?" Then everything went into slow motion. My mom placed the earring in Lily's open palm, and after one moment frozen in fear, Lily Quinn decided on flight instead of fight and took off shrieking, sending the worm my mom had so graciously gifted her flying out of her hand. Another thing that brings me joy is watching Mr. Davis stare at me blankly after I've said something either questionable or problematic. My statements range from, "The earth is flat, I don't know what you're talking about, bro," to responding to general questions with, "Your mom." Needless to say, last Friday's day of silence really went off for my guy, CD. As much as I love environmental science, I have found much more joy in playing like a game of free word association for most of our classes until Davis loses his mind or the bell rings. Just kidding. So thanks, CD, for letting me chase my joy in your class. Now, I have a million other anecdotes and terrible stories about the class of 21 especially, that would probably make y'all laugh, but Katie O'Brien said I couldn't tell my favorite one. So I'm gonna end on this. Next year is going to be undeniably really weird. Things are changing here. People are dipping, and this time it's definitely not limited to the graduating class. To all my 20s, 21s, and 22s, y'all are gonna be here next year while I simply will not. I can't be here to mom you all to death or scream like a banshee in school meeting, so I leave you all with one charge. Find your joy and protect it with all you've got. There's no shame in filling your heart and mind with your favorite show or whatever artistic or athletic expression that fulfills you. But make time for friends, both new and old, and share with them the things that bring you joy. We all got to get through here somehow. And the best way to do it is by indulging in the things that you love, the people that bring you joy, and the moments that matter to you. If none of my speech made any sense to you, just take this one thing. Curse in Willie Waters' Gov class, because it's hilarious, and when you call me to tell me about it, it'll bring me joy. Thank you.